Here before you is one of the very few places worldwide that has managed to preserve an ancient and glorious Jewish heritage. A rich tradition of over 400 years in all its majesty. It is a cultural treasure that has survived wars, political unrest, and even an earthquake. You are about to discover the hidden secrets of the ancient synagogues of Izmir. A living monument to a precious past of the eminent Jewish community who once prospered along the coast of the Aegean Sea. There are 13 ancient synagogues, some preserved almost immaculately and built in a typically medieval style, creating a sanctuary that inspires an unusual sense of reverence. They're tucked away, hidden behind walls, between the narrow alleyways of the bustling market, their pretty gardens welcoming anyone who comes in from the busy streets through a humble gate. The impressive number and proximity of so many synagogues when compared to the dwindling numbers of Jewish community inspires a passion and an urge to recognize and preserve this community and its past. When visiting synagogues such as El Ghazi, Signora, Bikur Cholim, Eitz Chaim, Shalom, Beit Yisrael and others, you can't help but imagine the rooms filled with the voices of people praying and singing, the echoing sounds of Ladino pouring out into the narrow streets of the Huleria, or the old Jewish quarter of Izmir. The Jews' expulsion from Spain in 1492 scattered many Jews across the Ottoman Empire, bringing large groups of Jews to the small town of Izmir, which by the end of the 17th century had become a bustling port of trade and the capital city of the Aegean Sea. In Izmir, Jews were allowed to establish a community and practice their faith amongst the liberal Turkish populations who welcomed them openly. The Jewish exiles of Spain and Portugal brought a wealth of medieval architectural knowledge with them to their new homes in the Ottoman Empire. This splendor of architectural tradition, so apparent in these synagogues, was passed down to them from their forefathers who prospered during the Golden Age of Spain. It is for this exact reason that these synagogues are to be preserved for their Jewish and Turkish cultural importance. These places of worship are living monuments, unlike any others in the world, to unique Jewish architectural style and a wealth of Jewish heritage and tradition dating back to the Golden Age of Spain. However, not all of these magnificent synagogues were so lucky. Over the years, through neglect, time itself ensured ruin and decay. Yet these buildings were never defiled by their Turkish neighbors. Of the original 34 unique synagogues built in Izmir, only 13 remain. Some remaining intact, some in grave disrepair. An astounding collection of scriptures, sacred books, books on Jewish law, ornamented ritual awnings and artifacts salvaged from the ruins of these synagogues were collected over the years by the community and are kept to this day in a small room in the former Jewish hospital donated by the Jewish community to the people of Izmir. These synagogues are an essential milestone in the history of the Jewish Spanish culture. As a direct result of diminishing community and the lack of sufficient funds, the Jewish community donated the synagogue of the great Rabbi Chaim Falaji to the municipality of Izmir to save it from ruin. Today the building serves as a conservatorium. All that remains today are the facade of the Holy Ark and a portrait of Rabbi Chaim Falaji, one of the greatest rabbis, gazing sadly upon the hall. Should this too be the fate of the few remaining magnificent buildings? In view of this actual endangerment to these cultural treasures and realizing the severity of the Jewish heritage of Izmir becoming lost forever, the Shazar Center and the Avihai Foundation funded a study of the situation. This study called for an international body to be established, which will oversee the preservation of these buildings, similar to those established in Krakow and Prague. This international initiative will then establish a center for Jewish heritage and cultural center for education, tourism, multicultural dialogue and studies in conjunction with academic institutions, a living museum of Jewish culture and manifestations of the great past of Izmir. The Mordechai Kiryati Fund has taken upon itself to lead this international initiative for the rebuilding and preservation of the ancient synagogues of Izmir, and the establishment of a multicultural educational center and a living museum of Jewish heritage.